So what are the values that have inspired Oğuz, Erol, and thousands of other Turks to sacrifice their time, talents, funds, and career to a communitarian project they call the Hizmet, or service? Now, this community is inspired by the preaching and writing of the Turkish scholar Fethullah Gulen. It's Gulen's particular understanding of the teaching of the Quran and Hadith, and his appropriation of the way this message has been understood and lived and commented upon by Muslims down through the centuries, that provide the intellectual content of the movement and the ideals pursued by the community. In this paper, I want to focus on another central notion that motivates and characterizes the activities of the Gulen Jamaat. This is the important concept of ibadah, which is broadly translated as worship, and the related concepts of ubudiyya, servanthood, and ubuda, which we might translate as devotion. Fethullah Gulen has applied this traditional language to the practice of Islam in modern situations. Gulen expands upon this traditional view of ibadah to define it very broadly as, and here I quote him, fulfilling God's commands in one's daily life and fulfilling the obligations of being God's servant. When Oğuz teaches physics in Kyrgyzstan, he is performing ibadah. He is worshiping God. When Erol donates funds so that schools, dialogue centers, well-digging projects, and publishing houses can be founded and maintained, he is doing ibadah. His donations are a form of divine worship. The teachers and students are worshiping God when they undertake a scientific study of the universe and its elements. Gulen's comprehensive understanding of worship has resulted almost in a kind of sacralization of education and helps to account for the emphasis the movement has given to opening and operating schools. Now, Gulen reaches back to the Sufi tradition to note a still deeper stage of worshipful involvement, that of devotion, or ubuda. Now, Gulen reaches back to the Sufi tradition to note a still deeper stage of worshipful involvement, that of devotion, or ubuda. Like the Sufis, going back to Al-Ghazali, Gulen views worship as a way to obtain experiential knowledge of the truths of faith that otherwise would remain only theoretical postulates. Now, Gulen characteristically orients even the stage of ubuda, devotion, toward those members of the Jamaat engaged in what he sees to be the mission of Islam in the world, that is, serving God by serving others. He says, and I quote him, "This vital mission can only be realized by the devout and the godly, who never think of themselves except insofar as they see their own salvation through the salvation of others." The stage of devotion is, in the view of Gulen, not so much a spiritual achievement of the select few who have devoted their lives to the mystical path, but is rather an attitude that can be achieved by any pious Muslim who strives to overcome their selfish passions to serve God and others. This ideal of being one of the devout is one that Gulen has held up to countless young Muslims and has inspired many of them, like Oğuz, with whom I began this paper, to devote their lives to the service, the Hizmet. In speaking of servanthood, Gulen notes that Rumi's greatest boast about himself is not that he was a great saint or a person of great spiritual depth, but simply that he was God's servant. Gulen cites as a model of Islamic humility and joyful service the words of Mevlana, with their famous triple repetition for emphasis, And so now I quote from Mevlana, as Gulen has done in his writings. I have become a servant. Become a servant. Become a servant. I have bowed and doubled myself up with serving you. Servants or slaves rejoice when they are emancipated, whereas I rejoice when I become your servant. Mr. Gulen, he defines worship not in a narrow sense of ritual activity, but it's everything we do as servants of God. So it could be teaching physics in Kyrgyzstan. That's when somebody does that, they're worshiping God, if that's their intention. It could be contributing, giving money so that schools could be built or a dialogue center could be built. It could be meeting people at the airport. It could be preparing lunch for visitors. Anything that we do, if we do it with an attitude of servanthood, that is, what we want to do it to please God, who is our master.